So as you may notice, I am not in my usual setting. I'm sitting outside. So firstly, I do apologize if you happen to hear my dog barking or my chickens squawking or any other external noises, but the video I wanted to make today is quite important, and I just felt like I needed to sit somewhere where I felt relaxed. It's a bit more of a sit down, chatty kind of video where I share with you some thoughts that I've been having, and hopefully this video may help some of you. It just felt right to sit out here today, so we're gonna roll with it and let's get into it. So the topic of today's conversation is about feeling alone. I know that this is an emotion or a feeling that a lot of people experience in one way or another. Some people may find that being alone is empowering and freeing and enables them to embrace all the opportunities that they've ever wanted to take hold of, or experience things that they maybe may not have been able to experience being tied down to any one particular person. For some people, being alone is sitting at home all day long by yourself and not seeing many people, so the physical aspect of being alone. And then there's the other side of being alone, which is when you could be in a crowded room full of people and feel like you're the only one. You still feel so alone and so isolated even when you're around others. You feel like people don't and won't want to understand or care about you and how you feel, and you feel like you aren't valued within your social group or your family or your peers or your co-workers. Aloneness comes in many shapes and forms, and I really just wanted to discuss this today because I think it's one of those topics that people don't really talk about. Like, people sort of these days talk more about mental health or bullying. I'm really sorry if it's windy, but people don't talk about just the feeling of being alone. And so many people would feel this at some point. Some people, it is that they have everything in their life. They have, their career, and they have their family, and they have their friends, and everyone in their group or in their family seems to have another person to share that with. And, the feeling of being alone can just stem from not having someone to share all of your successes with, or not having someone to support you through the hard times. I know me personally, I'm currently struggling with the version of being alone physically. So I'm a very, very social person. The way that I sort of give and receive love is through quality time and physical communication. So being with someone. If you're texting me, I just don't respond well to electronic communication. So I don't find social media that comforting in that sense. And having online friends doesn't necessarily make me feel any less alone. I do find YouTube a little bit more personal because I'm looking at a person on a screen, and even though they don't know I exist, I do feel that connection of a physical interaction more so. But the act of physically being alone all the time can actually be really damaging to a person, and I think it's something that people don't often think about, because a lot of the time it's more that people are too busy, or they're working too much, or they don't have enough time to do the things that they want to do, and they don't have enough me time and enough alone time. And I do want to discuss the sort of importance of alone time, because I think that sometimes you really do just need to be alone and be happy alone and do things that make you happy for you. And You know, whether that's reading a book or having a bath or going for a walk or painting a picture. I'm really sorry if you can hear my chickens. Being alone is really beneficial to your self-esteem, to your self-worth, but when it's taken to that extreme of no longer being able to separate your alone time from your normal time, which is what I'm currently dealing with, it's almost as if I no longer have any value placed on alone time because all of my time is alone time. And what I do place value on is the time that I am with people, or I am with friends, or I am with family. And it's really bizarre because it's made me absolutely miserable, but at the same time, it's made me place so much value on working and having things to fill out your day and money to spend on things to fill out your day. So I know that when I do eventually go back into more consistent working, because at the moment I'm just doing freelance, which is not very consistent, I know when I get into full-time work, I'm just going to value it so much more than what I did, because I've experienced this intense, alone, isolated time by myself all the time, that I no longer enjoy the things that I would normally do in my alone time, like having a bath, or like the things that would normally make me happy in my alone time no longer really serve that purpose, because I'm just always alone and I feel like I'm always doing those things. So now they've lost their spark, or they're not quite as special because it's not something that I'm looking forward to doing, because I'm just doing it to fill out the time. Sometimes being alone when you are with people can be a state of more mental health issues, or you know, if you're around people but you still feel withdrawn and you still feel isolated, that can reflect more to do with your own self-worth. You don't feel valued, you don't feel important, you don't feel special, you don't feel cared about, and it may not necessarily be the actions of those people that are hanging around you. It's what's going on in here that is corrupting your brain and making you feel like your feelings and your thoughts are not valued and not important, which then makes you withdraw because you don't feel cared about. And I know so many people who go through this type of alone as well, because even though people do value you and do want to spend time with you and do want to be there for you when you need them, if you're not in a place where you're ready to receive that, or maybe you're expecting it on a much greater level than what people think you need to be honest. You know, that you'd be surprised with how many people around you would be so happy to spend the time with you because you say you need them, and that then makes them feel valued and they'll want to help and they'll want to support you. But people are not mind readers, and this is something that's taken me so long to figure out, that you cannot expect people to know that you're feeling alone, to know that you're hurting, or to know that you're struggling. You just can't. And it is unfortunate that sometimes we think that people should just be there for us and we shouldn't have to ask. But everyone gets caught up in their own lives, and unfortunately they might be feeling alone themselves and therefore not reaching out to you, you're not reaching out to them. It's kind of a vicious cycle. I feel like there should be a healthy amount of alone time that everyone experiences, because I do think that being alone is empowering, knowing that you can be okay and be happy and be completely stable mentally and physically by being alone is a really, really empowering thing. Like, how strong does that make you? You could be anywhere by yourself and just feel happy and content and strong. Unfortunately, there are not a lot of people out there who can do that, and you know, I tip my hat off to those people, but I think a lot of the other people, we can really take some inspiration from those people. I think that you just never know what people are feeling, and I encourage all of you to reach out to your friends, you know, every now and then, and just remind them that you love them and care about them and that you're there for them all the time. And you know, if you really want to see people or you really want to meet people, like join clubs of things that you like doing, or get a new hobby, or start a class and meet people who are like-minded and have the same interests as you, because maybe you're just surrounding yourself with the wrong people. Maybe you just haven't met that friend that you click with. Like, I know personally, I did have a friend that I felt like we were inseparable, and that we did everything together, and that we were like sisters, and you know, it unfortunately it didn't work out, and that's just life. But I haven't found like anyone that's really sort of filled that void yet, and I think that I'm probably not alone in that. I think that a lot of people are maybe missing that piece of the puzzle, even if it's not a boyfriend or a girlfriend. It could just be that you're missing that friend. Like, you want to have someone who's like you, who gets you, who you can be silly with, who you can let your guard down with and be 100% yourself, and you don't have any fear of them ditching you or leaving you, or, you know, at least with a friend, like, friends are for life. You know, your boyfriend or your girlfriend may not necessarily always be there, and it's really unfortunate, but you know, your friends are the people who should be there for you forever. And if you haven't found that person yet, maybe you're not in the right place, maybe you're not doing the right things, you know, maybe that person will come into your life when you really need them, or maybe they won't, and maybe you need to go out and get out of your comfort zone in order to find that person. Anyway, I don't want to make this video too long because I have a habit of rambling. I did write down some points on a notepad, so I didn't really lose track of what I wanted to say, but I'm gonna finish this video off by giving you some tips on things that you can do to either stop feeling alone or to help your friends and family to not be feeling alone either. So my first tip is to go somewhere that makes you happy. If you love the beach, just drive to the beach by yourself and go for a really long walk along the beach, and take your shoes off and put your feet in the water and sit in the sand and just soak it up and do things that make you happy, because the things that really make you happy will help you feel content with being alone. The next step is to reach out to friends and family. Tell them that you need them, or that you're unhappy, or that you need support. Thirdly, if you don't feel like you can do that with your friends and family, go and seek exterior help. There are so many like helplines, or you know, psychologists and counselors, etc., people that will listen to what you have to say and will help you be able to change your thinking patterns to stop you maybe overthinking things, or to help you feel that you're not alone and that people do care and that people are there to help you. And finally, reach out to people. Like, maybe you don't know that they're alone, but you don't know what anyone else is going through. You know, you can't sit there and feel sorry for yourself and not be reaching out to other people as well. Like, you might be struggling, but other people might be struggling too, and that's why, you know, there's that distance, because they're also struggling and you're struggling, and neither of you are reaching out because you're waiting for someone to reach out to you. And maybe your life is great, maybe you're, you know, in a good place, and that's when I really encourage you to send messages to your loved ones and just check with them and see if they're okay, and let them know when you're available, and say that you'd love to see them, because it means so much to people to know that they're valued and that people care about them being in their lives and about spending time with them. Like, I know that that's a really big thing for me. Like, I love when I know that people want to spend time with me, and that they care about spending time with me, and that time spent is valued to them. So I really encourage you to send a message out to all your friends or your family, or maybe someone you know is struggling, and you know, catch up with people, hang out with people, or make new friends. I really hope that this video helped people know that they're not alone, and that if you do feel alone, I understand, and there are people who understand you. And go out there and find the right friends that you need in your life. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.